What's up, people? You're welcome to Techbytes with TechNext. We're set to bring to you everything exciting about the tech space across Africa and indeed the entire globe. My name is David Afolayo. I want to welcome you especially once again to our podcast, and I have with me our foundational tech bro.
Now, so hi everyone, good day.
Yeah, it has been a while actually.
Yeah.
So past week has been very intense for us at TechNext because we are planning our biggest blockchain event for the year, Conference 2022. Check out the landing page.
Someone said you are superheroes. You just did God Summit and you're doing conference again. That's like double.
I don't want to tell you the story. Just check it out. So, but we are going to be having a very exciting list of speakers for this event. Last year we had 2 panel sessions, but this year we'll be having 5, and some will be breakout sessions. So come around and learn about the DeFi space, Metaverse, how to build a career in blockchain, and most importantly, how to make money from NFTs.
Very important.
Okay, so yeah, check it out, conference.technext.ng, and you're going to see it. So this week we'll be sharing exciting news across the space. We'll be talking about important things that you might have missed out in the African tech space especially, and we're going to be having an exciting conversation with a thought leader in the Nigerian tech space. We are having with us Dr. Charles Ifedi, CEO of Ebanqo, and we're going to be having conversation on businesses in Africa. And our topic for today is beyond acquisitions, building profitability through users retention in Africa. So Dr. Charles Ifedi is with us. You're welcome, sir.
Thanks very much, and thanks for having me here today.
Great. So first, let's have the juice from the program. We're going to be speaking to you about businesses in Africa. Stick around to get the juice. Now, first, let's go around the world of tech in 10 minutes. Dummy.
All right. Shoot. So,
so first, Mrs. Ibukun Awosika and Leslie Maasdorp has been appointed to Binance Advisory Board. These are 2 prominent figures in Africa with over 25 years experience each. What do you think about this appointment?
Yeah, I saw the appointment, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, and it was really good. I enjoyed the Ibukun Awosika vibe, especially she was First Bank this thing, right? Yeah, and now getting that recognition in a global tech company like that just shows that Nigeria has the ability and the people who are innovative. Is Konjo that is also on the board for Twitter. Yeah, and so this is just another very, very good thing and innovation.
Yeah, so it's exciting that we have Ibukun Awosika, a woman, the first woman chairman for First Bank. What is quite intriguing for me is Binance is a new age company.
They need the old guys now.
Yeah, and you're going in to get the old generation banking person to,
Yeah, because Binance actually recently have been having lots of regulatory issues, in several countries that they are currently in, and so there are lots of that. I think they can't even operate in the US currently. Yeah. So you need these guys who have the experience in the space, these guys who have done the finance space for decades to be able to talk to somebody.
Exactly.
And advise you to be like, okay, do like this, do like this.
Because Binance's biggest challenge, like you said, is dealing with regulation. So there is a need to have people who can advise them on very complex regulatory processes. And like you said, political and social affiliations.
Very important. So you need those powers.
So just for you to know, these 2 people are not the only people that have been appointed on Binance's advisory board. We have 11 other people, and looking at the list is a very rich one. We have people from the US, from Korea, from Brazil, and most of them are political advisors and former bank directors. So gives Binance a strong footing, especially now that they are looking at a very strong global expansion. And for a while, a lot of people I've thought that Binance is a Chinese company.
No, they are not.
Recently, they had to fight that narrative.
Although it's what's it called? It's a Chinese
CEO,
or something.
The same way Google, the same way Microsoft are CEOs
that are Indians and
Americans. So Binance is not a Chinese company.
They're saying they're a global company.
Yeah, so to be able to get that global presence, I think they are acquiring a board.
They're on the right track. So let's see how it goes.
I agree. Now to the second story, Kenya and Nigeria drop out of the top 10 countries on the 2022 Global Crypto Adoption Index. For all of you that used to be priding everyone.
No, it's the market. You won't blame us. Sapa is choking.
Well, we don't know, but last year, Nigeria was fifth, number 5
globally.
country on the world that has the highest number of crypto adopters. Kenya was around 7th, but this year we are 11th and Kenya is 14th. We've dropped by 6 places.
Yeah, I think the market has sort of saturated for now because the people who were supposed to be in, I mean the tech guys, the people who had the tech know-how are in already. So the market is sort of saturated now. I think the next phase will be bringing those underserved and unbanked into that space. That's when we really get the next boom. But currently, I think the market is good. Then there's Sapa too. You know,
I know the conversation we had with Osame, the CEO of GIGX, talking about crypto adoption, and his point was a lot of people are buying crypto just to hold and sell,
not really transacting.
When the price increases. So what we're having now is with the crash, we are now seeing people who are genuinely interested in investing in this space,
not just buying,
not
and
necessarily
selling
buying and selling. So what people would naturally do is buy in January, but then December when you want to do December, of course, you sell. But now you're not sure. So he's saying
your market has gone
exactly.
minus 25. You want to sell? Yeah, sell now.
I mean, the prices today is around $18,000.
Yeah,
that's quite low from what we had even in January this year. So it's bloody, damn it. It's bloody.
We'll survive.
So looking at the list, some of the other countries on the list had been a bit stable. Vietnam was number 1 last year, and Vietnam
they're still number 1.
They're still number 1. I'm still trying to understand what is it about Vietnam that makes them the number 1 adopter of crypto in the world. But we'll check it out.
Economy and everything, yeah.
Yeah, so economy. But when you look at the other people in the top 10, you see that they have a quite stable economy. So that argument sometimes doesn't seem balanced, because at number 4 we have India, at number 5 we have the United States, at number 10 we have
and you also
China.
have to argue population that one too.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation with Senator Ide, the leader of CBAN, Blockchain Association of Nigeria, and he was telling us that one of the reasons Nigeria dropped on the list is because the index for measurement had changed. So last year we were just looking at the population of people holding crypto, but this year they're also looking at other factors, including corporate holders, whales. I never knew what whales was.
Yeah, whales holders are those guys that buy in bulk. Like,
and buying bulk. So Nigeria, we don't have a lot of companies buying into crypto.
Do we even have any? Well, no one has come out, so we can't see.
Nigerians don't like to lose money, my brother. So that's the point. Hopefully, if we have corporate adoption, maybe a bit of global buying. So we're looking at, if we have Nigerians who are willing to buy as a corporate structure, it will give us some edge above these other countries.
Yeah, hopefully that's the next stride now. Let's go for it.
So let's see. Next one, Nedbank in South Africa goes to the Metaverse. So Nedbank is a South African bank. They've bought some portion of property. It's called a 12 by 12 hamlet on the Ubuntu land by Africa. That is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because a few months ago we heard that MTN
also bought
on the Metaverse, and it was quite funny. Like, why are you buying land on the?
I wanted to say something, but let me not talk about it.
Don't say it. Don't say it. But it's quite exciting. So this is not the first institution that will be buying into the Metaverse space. Yeah, we had JP Morgan do that like last year. They bought a sizable portion of the central land. I've not been there, so don't ask me. And some other institutions have followed. So DBS Bank, HSBC, Fidelity Investment, Cookmin. It has a South Korean bank, and very many other companies.
Even global tech companies as well. You have Meta, Microsoft, and all those guys. They are buying into it. Is there something that they are not telling us? Maybe I should go and buy land there first before I buy my village.
Buy your village. Buy your villages. But it's an interesting conversation, because what gives legitimacy to new technology is when we have, especially people whose opinion we respect, begin to buy into it. And for a bank, following the footstep of JP Morgan, shows that the metaverse is something that is here to stay.
That's how it goes.
And the last story, the biggest story for the week, Adobe acquires Figma.
Boom! When we saw that news, I was like,
for all of you
ow.
for all of you out there, I say I'm not Adobe. I have on my record of Figma. So Adobe now says, okay, give me Figma.
I think Adobe just saw the fight. It's like, okay, Figma and Adobe designers, because there's always been trolling for Adobe XD designers and all since. So Adobe just saw that fight and everything. Just said, you know what, guys, we're going to sort this out now. Come in, Figma Alpha. But like I said,
come to the table.
Just now, you have no choice than to use it now. I'm not sure if they're going to maybe change the name or something eventually. So, Adobe, eventually.
Yeah, I saw that a lot of people were pinned on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like supporting a politician that is you're abusing
one APC, underdog, then
the guy just
now
joins APC.
I like Baba Alpha now.
It's very interesting. But the money is enticing. $20 billion.
Nobody would not sell their company for that.
Even Twitter.
Twitter was 44.
With all the crises, they say bring the money.
Yeah, recently, they said bring the money.
Bring the money.
Let's start the dragging and everything.
Baba, we will go to court, but bring the money.
And that guy's CV is very interesting. I was checking the CEO's CV. That guy barely worked in the place for more than a year. 6 months, 4 months in different roles. And immediately was done with that. He just went ahead to do Figma. And now 10 years or 12 years later, 20 billion.
Yeah, Figma is a very interesting success story.
Yeah, very, very.
We know the last funding round they had, they were valued at $10 billion. We know that they've been having, according to their reports, they've been having over $200 million annual net recurring revenue.
That's on entire net worth since the company has been founded.
And the projection for 2022 shows that they are going to have like 150% increase. And as we speak, they're already netting around $400 million. That's a lot. Are we in the right trade?
I think I would just change my idea of not being an entrepreneur. Just gonna start something, start up.
Are we in the right trade?
No, we'll get there.
On our next podcast session, open mic, we're going to be having conversations about this with our designers in house.
Yeah, let's Idris come and fight.
Yeah, Idris and Anderson.
Come and fight for your Figma.
Yeah. So now into the conversation of the day. Thanks everyone for following us around the world of tech in 10 minutes. Now let's have our conversation. The topic is beyond acquisitions, building profitability through user retention in Africa. Just a few days ago, a news came out about Kuda Bank, and that news took the ecosystem by surprise. Not because we were expecting something of that nature, but it was just quite revealing, showing how much the startup space is difficult to work. And Kuda Bank has spent a lot on marketing. I could see the numbers. The bottom line is they've lost about 6 billion naira in customer acquisition and not so much profit to show. In fact, the non-performing loan recorded about 69% loss. So they acquired a lot of customers. People came in on board, took loans, and about 70% of them are not paying. So that revelation made industry analysis, especially on Twitter. Twitter was agog for a lot of days.
Everybody became financial advisors.
Analysts, yeah. Everybody became analysts overnight. And the conversation went back to what exactly is the cost of acquisition. You know, we wrote an article like a year ago, where we were talking about BBN sponsorship.
For
Nigerian tech company's new path to massive market adoption. And we had a lot of backlash. People were saying, this is not exactly good for the ecosystem. But the truth is, we are having increase in numbers. Some of these platforms have millions of users. But the question is this a profitable part? But we had conversations across the week, and a lot of people are saying, with over 1.5 million users and an acquisition of about 50,000 users weekly, according to Kuda Bank's report. How come the startup has been unable to turn its users into a profitable revenue? So is it just a question of its business model? It's a question of quality service. Some people also came up to say it's quality service. Some people said, I've opened my account and I haven't been able to get an ATM card for years and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to be having the conversation because we are not experts in quality
Of
service
course.
delivery. So we have an expert with us. We have Dr. Charles Ifedi. He's the CEO of Ebanqo. Ebanqo enables businesses to automate customer interactions and deliver services efficiently through messaging apps. You're welcome on board, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're excited to have you. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing great, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah,
Great.
cool.
All right. So first, let's start with you. So you have over 20 years of industry experience with major fintech players. I mean, you know, Switch. And how would you describe the African fintech space in terms of growth and in terms of prospects?
I mean, that's a very interesting question, and the fintech industry, I would say, with the term fintech, is probably just about 12 years old, because 20 years ago when I started in what is now fintech, it wasn't known as fintech. It was just basically a technology solution or a payment solution within financial services. Back then, when you look at it now, where basically hindsight is 2020. Back then and now, I don't think much has changed, right? In trying to get into the fintech space, it's all a matter of what gaps exist in the market, what problem are you solving. So I would say that there is still a lot of opportunity in terms of where the fintech space can go to. I mean, recently somebody was asking me this question of, are there now too many fintechs doing?
Yeah, we had spaces on that.
That was a very controversial conversation.
Yeah.
Are there now too many fintechs doing the same thing? And it's not something that anybody can say yes or no to. I think the only person that can say yes or no to that is the market. So looking back then, what is available, what is open in the market, what gaps are available in market, and going forward is the same thing. So I would always say that we haven't seen everything yet, so the prospects are still significantly a lot. So that's how I'll look at it.
That's fantastic. So I mean, you've been a player at the point when this industry was in its nascent stages, and you are here now. And I mean, one of the arguments we saw on Twitter was a lot of people were saying, "Look at the old players."
They've been doing it for a long time.
Fintechs. How were they able
to maneuver the market
to maneuver the market with acquisitions? But the question I wanted to ask is, what is your take? This transition. Do you really think it's something that is sustainable? This boom that we've had with fintech, and is it something that we can be able to sustain? Are we getting it right? That's my question.
Once again, in the question of are we getting it right? Once again, only the market can tell us can tell us that. But the question of is it sustainable? That's also a question that I ask myself all the time. A lot of us in the space tend to celebrate raises than we tend to celebrate profitability. We celebrate the big raises that the company has raised, but when you ask them to tell us a little bit more about your numbers, they don't know what publishes anything. So you're like, okay, so what exactly is? So when somebody publishes, we have 150 million users every month or something like that, which is exciting. The question is, how much do they pay? We've seen scenarios around the world, companies like Uber that have raised so much money and spent so much money and still are not profitable, years later. But we've seen companies like Amazon too that took 20 years before they ever became profitable. So you can look at those people and say that's the same thing that we're trying to do in these markets that we're doing. But the question is, the monies that we're raising, are we raising patient capital? If you're not raising patient capital, we can't stay that long, and so I would say it is sustainable if you can find patient capital, or if you find investors that are willing to take this bet with you and go the long run. So sustainability is a difficult one. So the question is, if you have 150 million, 1.5 million customers, how do you actually make money from them? How do you make money from them? Even if it's not from them, how do you make money from someone else that is willing to pay? So you would see businesses that have so many customers, and at the end of the day, what they'll do is make money from somebody else advertising to those customers. So because those people can't afford to pay you, you're just basically going somewhere else to get the to get someone to pay you. So sustainability is going to be dependent on acquiring those customers, keeping those customers, and find a way for someone, if not those customers, to pay you for those services that you offer. If you don't do that, then your business is not sustainable.
3-step.
Okay, so fantastic. The next question will be what qualifies as profitable retention? Because our topic today is profitable retention. Yeah, it's not sufficient for you to have 150 million users.
How many of them are recurring?
Across the world, definition of terms. What qualifies as profitable retention?
Thank God this is not me going to come up with an answer. But it's fixed around the world, right? It's the question of how much does it cost me to acquire this customer? If it costs me $10 or 700 naira to acquire this customer, on the average, right? Basically, on the average of acquiring customers cost me $10 or 700 naira. Just using that as an example, right? If I also take the average lifetime of my customers. So if my customer uses my product for 6 months, or uses it for 9 months, or uses it for 12 months, at the end of that period, if I take a snapshot of a period of, say, 12 months, and I say this was my cost of acquisition, and I say what is the lifetime value of this customer, which one is greater? If the cost of acquisition is greater than the lifetime value of the customer, that is definitely not it's not profitable acquisition. So around the world, people argue that the lifetime value should be 3 times or 4 times the cost of acquiring the customer. Well, yeah, it should be 3 times or 4 times. So if you still have businesses like someone that is the bank for the free, which is a great product, which is a great concept, there has to be a way for that person to make money, because you would see a huge cost of acquisition, which includes staff cost, marketing cost, and the cost of giving incentives to the customer. And then the money I'm making from those customers directly or indirectly should be 3 to 4 times that. Otherwise, you would not have a profitable or sustainably profitable business.
Wow. 3 times.
3x. Yeah, so I know I read an article, I think about 2-3 years ago, Dr. Brown, where she was talking about Nigeria, Africa is a unique market because of our wealth rate. I don't want to use poverty rate.
Spending power.
Yeah, because of our spending power. And I've seen articles like why non-purchase is your biggest competitor. The truth is, a lot of people don't even want to buy the service, and we've seen examples of that. Africa does not have that very sizable addressable market. Nigeria does not have. So it seems to us that all of the fintech players are selling to the same group of people, and that makes it very difficult, because I have options. I could use this app A, this app B, this app C. So entrepreneurs are quite challenged. How do you keep me to use this platform instead of using these 2 other options that are available, especially when the 2 other options are telling me I could do certain transactions for free? Now, if they get me to use their platform because I could do those transactions for free, how do they in turn tomorrow tell me now begin to pay for certain services? So it's a very difficult balance. So what would be your recommended approach? What would be the distinctive factor for a startup?
If I have an answer to that, I'll be able to get $1 right now. But I mean, I have a view, and it's very personal, and it could potentially be controversial. Around the world, when a business starts from being free, offering a product for free, and then converts and then now starts saying, okay, we were free before, we now want to start charging, or we now want to start making money somehow.
Revenue.
What happens is that the rate of the people that decide to start paying is between 2% and 10%. So it's really small. And it's not, we're talking of stable, big companies and countries. Now, I would argue that if it is 2 to 10% in the developed world, it is going to be like 0.02% in Nigeria. So my own view is, if you decide to give your product for free or acquire customer using lower
The
cost.
free model.
Yeah, lower cost. So there are terms around that about freemium, free trial, and those kind of things. Lower cost as your acquisition model. Your business model has to be clear where the money is going to come from. If your business model is not clear about where the money is going to come from, and you believe that later on I'm going to just turn this on and start making money from them, I mean, I don't think so. So it's like being clear. I mean, I'll say two things. One, be very, very clear about what your business model is going to be in the long term, right from the very beginning. That idea of, okay, let us get them first and we'll figure it out later is possible, but it doesn't always work out. So for example, someone that has 1.5 million people, those people could potentially be advertising targets for other products and services that are essential. Those people could be survey targets. So basically, what are they spending money on? And then you're now selling quotes, not their data. You're selling the insights.
let us put it on the safe side.
Yeah, we're selling the insights
from their data.
We're selling the insights from their data that basically makes us understand that, okay, this is how people are spending. This is and then somebody is willing to pay for that. It might be the multinationals, it might be other people, might be say, okay, how do I mean, so when they run an advert of some kind, they see the change in behavior. So the first thing is, I would say right from the beginning, define your business model. And the second, which is the controversial one, is don't even start when you're providing it for free. Be very clear that is when you're providing it for free because you want to try things and you want to fix things and you want to do that. But once you have tried, fixed, and all those things, I would think it is not wise. This is once again, I would think it's not wise to continue the business model that way. It's better to put a price that you believe delivers value to the people, identify the markets that can pay for it, and then go and then focus on that market. But if your goal is, let me get 15 million, 100 million people on this platform, and then later on I'll figure it out, it could work, it could not work. So like try at the very beginning to start trying to figure out what your business model is. It might evolve and change along the way, but I wouldn't advise anyone to go and say, I'll figure it out later.
No time. No time to figure things out.
Yeah, so I'll take the next question again. So one of the pain points for a lot of people when looking at the news that we're looking at, the story in perspective was people complained that you are growing in user base, but the efficiency of the service was not improving. In fact, it got worse. I mean, it's a regular experience. Once a startup starts and you have a challenge, you want to call the customer care team. At once, your problem has been resolved. Yeah. But as soon as they begin to grow, expand to other places,
75 working days,
you might even be on the call for hours and all of that. And the argument is, it's like chasing two cats at the same time. On one hand, once the startup is chasing acquisitions, it seems that's everybody's project. Like somehow, quality service delivery suffers. And at one point, if you really want to focus on quality service delivery, you become the one customer startup because you don't have time on acquisition. So it's a difficult balance to achieve. And one of the reasons why it is difficult is maintaining a solid team. The mantra for the startup is a lean team. So you have 200 people. The 200 people want to focus on acquisition. And at some point, you're seeing that the customers you already have are suffering. How do we manage that balance?
I like that particular question. So I would start first by saying that it is more expensive to acquire a customer than to keep a customer. I mean, that's very, very common and well known that it's more expensive to acquire a customer. So if you have a customer, it is in your best interest to keep that customer very, very happy. So this actually is one of the main things that we focus on in our current company, of saying, as you grow your business, as you think about other things that you want to do not forget the part of retaining and keeping your existing customers happy. Research has shown that 95% of customers are okay when they reach out to you and they can reach you. Not that you've solved their problem. So if they reach out to you and you solve their problem, even better. But 95% of customers are okay that they reached out to you and told you they had that they had a problem. The big problem is a lot of companies, startups, and big companies alike make it very difficult for you to reach them. Make it very difficult for you to reach them, and therefore reducing customer satisfaction. You've not solved the problem, but reduces customer satisfaction. So our view is right from the very beginning of every company, the same way you're defining your business model, you should define how customers should be able to reach me. You should define, okay, when they reach me, how do I speed the resolution of their issues? I mean, human nature will tell you that if I can reach you and you tell me your issue is going to be resolved in 75 days, right? This is the example. Your issue is going to be resolved in 75 days. It's better than me trying to reach you for 4-5 days and then you resolve my issue immediately, because within those 4-5 days, my heart rate would have increased, my frustration level.
I won't download it.
Correct. So that thing of being able to be reachable, 24/7, reachable all the time is really, really important to customers. And not just being reachable and giving a holding response, being reachable and being able to allow the customer report their issue and the issue is acknowledged, being able to be reachable and let the customer know that they can even potentially resolve the issues themselves without speaking with a human being and those kinds of things. So that is our view. Right from the very beginning, a company should be thinking about how to keep their existing customers happy. And when they add people to that new customers, they should also keep those people happy as well.
So, I mean, this point you made is very deep, very deep for me. But the question then will be the cost of maintaining that model. I mean, for instance, in a place like Nigeria, because of our educational level, basic things customers find it difficult to do. So I could imagine, how bank customer service teams manage, because operating a bank app, it might just be 1-2 steps or something very difficult. Maybe
your network.
It could be your network. It could be a complex button. It could be something not very visible. So people would call in and say, "I've been trying to do this transaction on money," and all you just needed to do was just press OK or next or something. So people are always wanting to reach somebody instead of just trying to use the technology themselves. How do you have the massive team you need to manage 1.5 million customers who want to call you like almost every time for the littlest of challenge?
I've been fortunate enough to run a business that had not the total customer size as 1.5 million, but as having more than 5 million customers using my platform every month. So, wow. So if you have more than 5 million using your platform every single month as a consumer platform, you can imagine the size of the contact center and the kinds of the things that people want to reach you. Now, what we discovered during this time and the research I did on that is that about 57% of issues that customers actually raise, they can solve themselves without even speaking with anyone. And our thinking is that even if you have 5 million or 10 million of those customers, if they do reach you, and you can teach them how to resolve these things themselves the next time, they would not need to reach you the next time, right? So it's going to make it is that process of having that right balance of creating the technology automations that allow customers to self-serve and also being available and reachable at the same time. Because if somebody calls you on Monday and he has the same issue in a month's time, he doesn't need to call you again because you've taught him how to go about it. So once again, it's the combination of making sure that you create the automations and self-service options for people to resolve issues themselves, for people to do things themselves, and still also being reachable 24/7 through other things. Now, I've also come to realize that because a lot of us are startups, it means that we do not want to also incur the cost of 24/7
call centers. Shifts, have more staff.
What I have seen also is that when I personally have an issue and I bank with this utility company, I use this utility company, have an issue. If I can find somebody else that uses that utility company that potentially solve this problem himself, that person may actually be able to help me do that. So that's creating a community of some sort, of being able to solve things within the community, is also something that we've not really exploited a lot in Africa, and we can potentially also look at for a business. So automate, be reachable, and then try and create some kind of community where people can potentially help one another is how I would see it. But it's not that none of them are mutually exclusive. It's like you need to try to do all of them so that you do not get a situation whereby people go to Twitter and start complaining start
tagging you.
Yeah,
start dragging you like generators.
And start complaining about
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
so I'm going to pick on the word automate because automation requires technology. So don't be surprised. A lot of startup founders are not that they don't know that automation exists, but they've not been wowed by the magic of it. So they're just used to the system of calling and respond to you, send an email and respond. People are not really utilizing automation because they've not seen the magic, and they don't really see it as something they should invest in. And for the people who have seen the magic, there is that notion that this is very expensive to create and maintain. I mean, I imagine a bot or a solution that would answer my customers on my behalf. This could be quite pricey. So how do we address these two ends? I mean, if it is something you need to do to be able to deliver quality service and maintain and retain your customer, how should people navigate the automation question?
For most companies that are business to consumer, I would say they have some kind of technology they have internally already, right? So whether it's the database that to hold their customer information, whether it is the tool they actually use to serve their customers, whether it's the utility billing platform. So all of these businesses have some idea about the kind of technology of some sort, right? So it's not as though they have zero technology and they have no experience with technology. So it's companies like Ebanqo that I currently run, where we actually say, listen, you don't have to focus on what you are good at, right? Focus on being a delivering great billing. We will come and do the automation on your behalf. So we'll work with you to do the automation on your behalf. We'll handhold you through the process of automation and make sure that it is possible for your customers to self-serve in the future. Look at it like this. Look at this example, right? If the person chose to hire a human being, right, to hire a human being to do a particular task, when a human being resumes, somebody had to train that human being. Yeah? Someone has to teach the human being, when somebody calls in, log into this solution, answer this person, be polite, be nice, and all of those things. That's exactly what we do. You come and teach a platform to do those exact same things. But the difference between that platform and a human being, I'm not belittling human beings here.
No shades.
Yeah, the difference between a platform and a human being is that the platform is going to be available 24/7. The human being is going to need 6-8 hours of sleep, and if the human being lives in Lagos, a couple of hours in traffic, right? While a machine is going to be up and running and 24/7. The other thing about the difference between human beings is that human beings
can japa.
I did not say that.
Can go to lunch.
Yeah, human beings can go to lunch. Human beings can move to other companies.
Can be moody.
And human beings can be moody. So,
it can be going through breakfast.
Yeah. So there's so many things that human beings can do. So our thinking is that whether you're a very small business, you're a growing business, you're a large business, the ability to grow with your customers is really, really critical, and that's where companies like ours actually help companies to navigate that area. We still strongly believe that human beings are necessary. So, using my own personal experience, on the average, I believe that we can automate about 80% of what customers want, but there's still 20% that we are not yet fully capable of automating, because they could be completely convoluted, completely complex. They can be weird out of the both things. So we still need human beings on the other end
Yeah.
to be reachable. But as you automate and automate and automate, you actually realize that you need fewer and fewer people to solve the remaining 20%. Now, if the company is big, 20% is a big number as well.
Yeah.
So if the company is small, 20% is also
small.
so it's basically working with a company like Ebanqo to get up to 80% of your automations possible, and then customers, and they can focus on the 20%.
Okay.
So this just popped into my head. Some people don't feel comfortable if they don't speak to the man in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in banks before, and someone just come in and say, "I want to see the manager. Can I help you? I want to speak with the manager." So, are you saying those people will be catered for by the 20% human intervention, or is it possible to be so efficient with technology that people know, it can solve my problem?
I would say it's both. I would say it is the 20% can be catered for, or those people that want to speak with the manager can speak with a human being. And the reason why most people come in and say, I want to speak with your manager, is because they feel you cannot solve my problem. But if the manager is not in the office that day, what should you do? You will speak to the person that is there.
Sure.
So if the manager is not in the office, if you can't reach someone and there's a bot that is able to solve your problem, and the bot solves the problem that day, when you come the next time, you will not come and ask for the manager. So that's why I say it is both. It is both things. Now, if the person does speak with the manager and he waited a couple of minutes to get to speak with the manager, and the manager solves the problem but tells the person, listen, next time, you know that you wasted 30 minutes trying to reach me, you waited 1 hour trying to get to my office, you could have just done this yourself. I will think that even if the person, no matter how stubborn the person is, the person will try it next time before speaking with the manager. So my view is it's a cultural shift that is going to happen. Once again, when in my former business, it took, I would say, 3 years before the concept of, back then, people get paid their salary and they go and withdraw everything.
I recall.
It took
long queues.
It took long queues and all those things. So it took time for when ATMs started being deployed and they became more stable. ATMs are always stable. POS started going everywhere. And it took things a while for adoption to become ubiquitous. And so my view is that we're starting that stage now as a country, as a continent, whereby we're going to start adopting these automations. And like I said earlier on at the beginning, when you asked me about something being nascent, if you start as a technology provider now, if you start when the market needs it or knows that they need it, you're already late. You need to literally be there to create the market, and so that when they actually realize that, okay, I can do this thing. Because think about it today, right? If you wanted to speak with your friend, particularly this younger generation, the likelihood you're going to pick up your phone and call your friend or send your friend an email is very low. You will pick up a direct messaging platform and send a message to your friend. So why don't we make it possible that every business in Africa can receive a direct message from a human being and can get served on that platform as well?
That's interesting. Yeah. So, as we close, can you just share with us a brief of your personal story? Like, how has your team been able to? Do you have examples of how you've been able to help people automate their process? And in the first place, I'm curious to ask, how did you make up your mind to do this?
Okay. So the make up my mind one is a simple one, and like every business, you have a personal experience most of the time that leads you to do what you're doing, because you believe that if I'm having this problem, you now go and research and you find out that 100,000 other people or 1 million other people are having
we're plenty
having this problem. And it's, I had this personal experience not in Nigeria, that I went somewhere and I rented a car, and the car, it didn't have a problem, but I thought it had a problem because the check engine light came on, and I now started calling to speak with the to speak with the company.
Managers, yeah.
And I mean, you know that lovely sound. Yes, the music is playing. You're hearing your call is important to us.
Please hold on.
Please hold on.
It's going to be
And
recorded for customers.
yeah, I mean, all those kind of things. And I'm on the phone for 20-25 minutes and nobody picks up. And I call the following morning. I do the same thing again, and I'm on the phone for 20-25 minutes. And eventually, I speak with someone. And when I speak to the person asks me two questions. Asks me what is your odometer reading of your car. I give them the answer. And the person asks me, okay, what is your policy number first? I give them the policy number, then what is the odometer reading of your car? And I give them, and the person logs into something. And so it took the person 2 questions and logging into the system to tell me that my car was actually serviced okay, they just forgot to do something. So I was like, so you mean that I took 45 minutes of my life and overnight with the anxiety, that I told you about? Because all of a sudden, when I saw that, I couldn't drive anywhere anymore. I stayed put. Wow. So it's created an anxiety, a frustration, and so that kind of experience was like a trigger to say, okay, I had this same kind of thing in my former business, and so I started doing a lot more research around that, and then went this direction of saying, okay, let's make it possible. Let's take away the first 45 minutes and overnight. Let's just solve the problem in 2 minutes instead, so that if we make the customer able to reach the business anytime and solve their problem anytime, then we'll take away those 45 minutes and we'll take away that time of anxiety. So at Ebanqo, that's basically what we focus on doing. We work with organizations, and our goal is to, one, like, first of all, make them reachable on all channels that customers are on. So whether the customer is on WhatsApp, customer is on Facebook, customer is on Twitter, customer is on Google, customer is on Instagram, whatever channel the customer is on, we make the customer be able to reach the business there. Now, the business will be like, if I'm reachable there, does that mean that I have to have someone on all these channels? No. What we also do is we aggregate all those channels, and then we'll put everything on one screen, so that no matter where the customer is coming from, the business is able to see the customer on that one screen. Then after that process, we then take the top issues that are coming from customers and start to automate them one at a time. So that as we do that, the number of customers that are getting to human beings continue to reduce. And our goal, like I said, is to get to 80%, if not 100%. But I mean, our goal is to get 80% of those things, and then only 20% of things get through. So that's basically what we focus on doing, and that's how we help businesses.
Interesting.
That was interesting. So the final question: how would you describe the future of service delivery in Africa?
My suggestion is that everyone is going to come to that same conclusion that I said literally at the very beginning of this talk.
Last.
Eventually.
That it is cheaper to keep a customer than to acquire a new one. So as people are creating great services, are creating great solutions and offerings around the world, they would also start thinking service delivery is not just about the service that I provide. Service delivery is that I remain reachable and I can solve my customers' problems. So I would say the future is going to be what people are currently doing, which is basically focused on trying to get more customers and serve better. But I also believe that we'll come to the time whereby the same way people stop going to withdraw all of their salary every month once it's paid, and started using other alternative solutions. Business are also going to start to know, listen, if I want my customers to reach me, I should make sure that my customers are able to reach me 24/7. Consumers also are going to also get comfortable with speaking with machines and bots and eventually human beings if necessary. So that's where I see service delivery going into the future.
Interesting. So 100%.
Well, let's try for 80.
Oh yeah, now.
Cool. So Africa, we've had an exciting conversation with Dr. Charles Ifedi on beyond acquisitions, building profitable businesses through user retention in Africa. And I'm sure you enjoyed that conversation. I did.
It was.
It gave us from a very deep wealth of understanding that space. For me, we don't play in the user space. We just write stories. We discuss. We do the podcast and we organize events. Well, it's insightful to know that we could get to that point where businesses could be reachable, could offer quality services, without spending so much on acquiring a lot of team members. Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
So yeah, if you have not followed us on our handles, I don't know.
What are you waiting for?
I don't know what to do. That means, what should we do?
I mean, well, there. Okay, register for conference. Will you do that one too?
Yeah.
Shall do one.
You should do one. Yeah. So until next time, we'll see you next week where we're going to be sharing exciting conversation. At that point, it's just going to be 3 days to conference. If you have not registered.
By then, what happened now?
All right. See you same time next week. Bye for now.
All right.